Shalom, Israel, Shalom. All praises to the Most High God, whose true name on this earth is YAHAWAH, coming in the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. My name is Brother Gadol, and today we're going to go over a couple precepts. We're going to talk about really how the Lord is our foundation in this truth, right? We have to understand who the 12 tribes of Israel are, which is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans on this earth, right? And we want to reach out to them and continuously let them know what they have to do in these last days. Having a strong foundation is the way to accomplish that goal, to getting the kingdom. I want to go to 2 Samuel, chapter 22. Slakia. Verse 1. It reads, "And David spake unto the Lord the words of this song in the day that the Lord had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul. And he said, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer." Right? So when you hear this precept, you understand that the Most High God, he is the one who is our foundation. He's the one who delivers us from the hands of our enemies. He's the one who blesses us. He's the one who curses us. He's the one who delivers us, even into the kingdom. To face judgment, he gives us correction. He gives us dang, I just lost the word. But he allows us to flourish when it's time to flourish, right? We want to understand that the Most High God is our foundation, because when you go through this earth, you have to understand that without the Most High God, you can make wrong decisions, right? Everything has to be rooted in the Lord. Whether you're getting a job, you got to keep the Sabbath day, right? For example, you have to you can't just work any willy-nilly job. Everything that you do has to be rooted in the Most High. If you're buying a house, you want to make sure that house isn't defiled in some weird knowing way, right? That all types of say you go into a house and people are doing sorcery in this house. That might not be the house for you, right? You want to have discernment and understand that the things that might have went down in that house, it's got spirits on it, right? So you want to understand that everything that you do is rooted in the Most High. And when you're doing that, it allows you to have discernment. When you have this discernment, you make righteous decisions and you live your life for the Lord. That's why putting the Most High God first is so important, because he is our foundation. It says, verse 4, it says, "I will call on the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies," right? Because the Most High God, he's the one who delivers us out of these situations. Next, I wanted to go over here to Sirach, and this is through the Spirit. This doesn't have there we go. Slakia. Chapter 17 and verse number 11. It reads, "Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage," right? Talking about the Israelites. He gave us a law. He gave us statutes. He gave us commandments. He told us how to live our life. He gave us the knowledge on how to maneuver on this earth, really from the beginning of time, even today. When all manners of wickedness are on this earth, the Most High God has always been there for us to give us the knowledge and the law, so we can have everlasting life, so we can know what we have to do, so we don't fall into wickedness, so we don't fall into these different plagues, so we don't get jammed up, essentially, right? Like the law of fornication, I always bring this up. Like, if you're out here fornicating, you really can get jammed up. You don't know who your child is. You might come home with diseases, right? You might even get kidnapped. You can get hurt. You have to prove people. You have to go through a courting phase and prove people before you're out here trying to marry them. You can't just be laying with willy-nilly whoever just out here in the streets. The Most High God told you that from the rip. So if he told you that from the rip and you're out here doing it, don't be surprised when you get jammed up, because the Most High God, he says, he gave you the law of life. He didn't give you the law of death, right? Understand that. Let's go over here to Proverbs. Continue on. Chapter 6. What is happening? I wanted Proverbs chapter 6 verse 23. Did we lose internet? Okay, Con. Proverbs 6 and verse 23, it says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." So remember, the Most High God gave us these laws. He gave us these statutes. He gave us these commandments. The commandment is a lamp, and the law is the light. It's showing you the way that you should go. The Most High God didn't do this for no reason. He did this for your good, right? The law is for our good. It says, reading on, it says, "And reproofs of instruction are the way of life." So we need to be guided. We know that Israel are Sodom's children. We know that Israel is stiff-necked, right? So we have to understand that the Most High God gave us these laws so we could be guided in the right direction, right? Let's continue on. I wanted to go to the benefits of all these different things. That's cool. I think it's I think I wanted to go over here to Isaiah. Slucky. 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, come. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation." A foundation. You see that? It says, "A stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste." Right? So we have to understand that the Most High God set up a cornerstone in Israel, in Zion. That's YAHAWAH, right? We have to understand that the YAHAWAH is the word made manifest, or manifest, right? We have to understand that we had Slaki. We have to understand that we have to follow the ways of this Bible and move more Christ-like, because doing so leads us in the right direction, right? This Bible isn't written for us to just read it and then forget all the things that our forefathers have done. We have to understand what's going on in this truth. We have to read through this Bible and understand that when we're reading through these precepts, they're for our benefit, for instruction, so that we may have life, right? Come on. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 6. And verse 47. It says, "Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will shew you to whom he is like. He is like a man which builded a house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it." That's how you want to be in this truth. You want to be unshakable, right? It says, "For it was founded upon a rock." And we know that YAHAWAH is that rock, right? This word is that rock. This truth is that rock. Everything that we do, it has to go through the Most High, and it has to be rooted in YAHAWAH as well, right? That's the only way to get to the kingdom. You can't get to the kingdom but by works and by faith in YAHAWAH, right? So we have to understand that we have to build our house upon a rock. We can't just continue in this truth, right? I'm gonna read on. It says, verse 49, it says, "But he that heareth," Salaki, dang. It says, "But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth. Against the same stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great." Right? You want to have your house. You want to be built, because this is a like a parable or a similitude, right? It's more like a similitude. It says this. It says, "But he that heareth and doeth not," which you don't want to be like. It says, "is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth," meaning like sand. You don't want to build your house upon the sand, right? If you build your house upon sand, the sand is movable. The sand has no real foundation. You know, you pick up a handful of sand and it just flows through your fingers, right? But if you have a rock, you pick up that rock and that rock does not bulge, right? You could drop the rock, it still probably won't even move. You could throw the rock, and sometimes it doesn't even move, right? It's unshakable. That's how you want to be in this truth. You wanna have a solid foundation. You wanna have a solid foundation and understand what's going on, because also when you don't have a solid foundation, you can bug yourself out, and you don't want to be a bug out. You don't want to be a bug out. Salakia, I want to go to Salakia. Is it Sirach 7? Salakia. 1 second. Bear with me. No. Salakia. Maybe it's Ecclesiastes. Salakia. Bear with me. 7. Khan, we can. Is this it? No, I don't think this is what I wanted. I don't think this is what I wanted. All right, okay, Khan, we're gonna move on. Khan, Salakia. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and 104. It says, "Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way." Right? That's why we have to be rooted in the Lord, because when you through the precepts, once you have understanding, you hate everything that's false in this world. Right? You're gonna hate the weed smoke. You're gonna hate the fornication. You're gonna hate the murder. You're gonna hate the lying. Right? You really want to be rooted in this truth, because through these precepts, when you get understanding, you're gonna hate all the false ways. You want to love that. You're gonna love the true way and hate the false way. Right? Salaki. And that's the thing about this truth, man. Once you come into this truth, you understand that it's for your good, and everything just starts to flourish. You know, all the things that you might have dealt with in the world, they kind of just pass away. You know, they change a bit, but for the most sense, you dealing with your brother, it's just so much more pure, because you have a mediator, which is YAHAWAH, which is this word, right? You see how that works? It's crazy how, like, once you come into this truth, everything changes for the better, because you're living by the law of life. Then you get understanding, and you hate all the false ways, right? You understand how you can separate yourself from evil. This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 23 and verse 3. It says, "The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me, he that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God." So if you're going to rule on this earth, you want to be a king. That's what everybody's in this truth for. They want to be a king. They want to receive the kingdom of heaven, and they will serve the Most High. It says in order to do that, you have to be, it says must be just, ruling in the fear of God. If you're not ruling in the fear of the Most High God, then that's not you. You have to put yourself, yourself in the shoes of this Bible and understand, where do you stand? Are you getting down with the evilness of this world, or are you getting down with the righteousness of this world? Right? Let's go to 1 Kings, Salakia. 1 Kings, I think it's 10. 10 and 8. Happy. Maybe it's 8 and 10. Salakia. This is 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 60, that all the people of the earth may know that the Lord is God, and that there is none else. Let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord your God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments as at this day. Right? So we already know that we have to keep the commandments of the Most High God. A lot of people will try and tell you that you can just freak off. You don't have to get down with the laws of the Lord. You don't be swayed. You have to have your foundation built upon a rock. If you don't know if you have to keep the laws, and you're getting down with evil, wickedness, mischief, you have to understand that your foundation is built on sand. You don't. I don't know if I can eat the pork. I don't know if I could do the weed anymore. Uh, 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 uh. Well, I only have to wear my fringes sometimes. You see what I'm saying? You have to understand that when your foundation is built upon a rock, you have to have a yay or a nay, right? Anything else is of evil, right? So it says, "Let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord your God, to walk in His statutes." You want to have your foundation built upon the Lord and walk in His statutes. Why would you build a foundation upon the Lord and not live after what He said? That doesn't even make sense, right? It says, "And to keep His commandments as at this day." Sluggy, there's more on this. No, let's go to the book of First Kings. Oh, there we go. Next chapter 9:6. Con. It reads, First Kings chapter 9 and verse 6. It says, "But if you shall at all turn from following me, you or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people." Right? You don't want that to happen to your people. The Most High God is telling you that we obviously have to keep the commandments, because if we don't keep the commandments, He's going to cast us out. You don't want your father to cast you out. You don't want to be 15, 16 years old and your father cast you out the house. You don't want to be 10 years old. And I speak this as like a comparison, right? Spiritually, you don't want to be young and be cast off by this truth or by the Most High, because you just didn't have a strong foundation and you didn't want to keep the commandments. Keep the commandments, right? Oh, I forget what this precept is. Salaki. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Come on. Did we read that already? We didn't read this already. The book of Proverbs, chapter 9 and verse 10. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." Right? So we want to walk in the fear of the Lord. It says, verse 9 says, "Give instruction unto a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning." So this Bible is really here for our instruction. We already read that earlier. This Bible is here for our instruction, and it makes a man wise. It says, "And he will yet be the wiser." It says, "Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning." Right? So we have to understand the judgments of the Lord, and that we don't want to be cast out in these days. We have to understand that keeping the law is the beginning of wisdom. If you want to be wise in this truth, then keep the laws of the Most High God. Fear the Most High God, to keep His commandments, right? It says, "And the knowledge of the holy is understanding." If you wanna apply this truth to your life, that would be understanding, right? I wanted to go to the book real quick of Leviticus, chapter 26, because this chapter really tells our people like what the Most High was like. You got to read this whole chapter. You read through this whole chapter, and you understand that the Most High, He was really not playing with our people. I'm going to read some of it, right? It says, and we were just reading this. It says, Leviticus 26 and 1. It says, ye shall make, Salakia, ye shall make you no idols nor graven images, neither, what is this word? Rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land. to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord, right? It says, if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and land shall ye yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, right? So the Most High God's telling you, hey, you keep the laws, I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna bless you. I got you. Just keep my laws, my statutes, and my commandments, and do them, right? So I want to jump down to verse 14 right here. It says, but if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and ye shall despise my statutes, and if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague. I think that I'm pretty sure that's going into like a plague. It says that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. Right? Jumping down, the Most High guys, he's not playing the game. It says, and I will break your pride of the Salakia. Verse 18, it says, and if ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break your pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as wrong, and your earth as brass, as iron. Salakia. I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for the land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. Right? Jumping down, the Most High God is not playing no games with this chapter. I was just reading this last night, and I was like, man, why are we? He's literally telling us he's gonna cook us. So like, yeah, I'm gonna jump down to. It's just so much. Everything is so strong. Slucky. I'll just go here to 37. It says, and they shall fall. 36. It says, and upon them that are left alive of you, damn, go to 35. As long as it lieth desolate, talking about the land, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when ye dwelt upon it. Saying that the land is better for us not to be in the land, and the land will have rest spiritually when we're not in it, because we're just such a wicked people to despise the Most High God in this land, in the Holy Land. It's 36. It says, and upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts, into the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall flee as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursueth, and they shall fall one upon another as if it were before a sword, when none pursueth, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies. The Most High God is our power. All this because we didn't keep the laws? All this because we didn't keep the laws? Keep the laws, right? It says, and ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up, right? I wanted to jump down to the conclusion. It says, Slaki, verse 40. It says, if they shall confess the iniquity, this is the turnaround. I forget for lack of better terms, this is the turnaround. It says, if they shall confess the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespass against me, and they also that have walked contrary to me, and that I also have walked contrary to them, and have brought them unto the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. So the Most High God said, yo, it feels like Deuteronomy 28 all over again. He's just telling us how he's going to cook us in this chapter, right? He's telling us all these, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do this to you. But if you will keep my commandments, I'll come back to you and I'll still love you. It's such a humbling chapter to understand that even though we did all these things to the Most High, he still has love for our people, right? Let's go to the book of, before I get too off track, Second Corinthians chapter 5. So Second Corinthians chapter 5 and verse number 10, it reads, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach Yahushai, which is Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or whether it be bad. So we have to understand, no matter what you do on this earth, you have to face the judgments of the Lord. When you come into this truth, you know you believe in God. You know that God is real, or you probably wouldn't even be here in the first place, right? So you already know that whether you're doing good or whether you're doing evil, whether you're being righteous or wicked, you always have to appear before the Lord in that day of judgment, right? And there's nothing that you could do. So therefore, Slaki, what is this? I think this is it. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Slaki. It might be, if it's not 30 and 16, I forget what it is. No, it's not it. Well, we can go here too. So it says, in that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. So we have to understand that we have to keep the commandments and choose life, right? That's what we're ultimately here for. I thought it was, maybe it's 31. And 24. That's not it. Slack you. But we have to understand that we have to keep these commandments to choose life. You don't want to live an evil life and choose death. Man, I forget. I gotta look it up real quick. 30 and 15. 30 and 19. I was right there. Previous chapter, 30 and verse 19. Qam. It says, I call heaven. I said 30 and 16. It says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Right? You want to understand. Just choose life. The Most High God has always set you up to choose life, to live. Right? Don't fall to the evil lusts of this world. I know that the world tries to make everything wicked seem like it's cool. They try and make the truth seem like it's dull and boring. I had a family member say that to me before. Oh, you're not keeping Christmas. You're not keeping Thanksgiving. No New Year's. Right? You're not doing these things. Your life must be so boring. So what are you talking about? There's more feast days in this truth than there are feast days of the world. Right? You got the Sabbath every single week. You got the new moon every single month. You got Day of Atonement, or not the Day of Atonement. You got the Feast of Tabernacles. It's a whole week long. You got Passover. That's a whole week long. You got Destruction of Nicanor. You got Purim. We have all these feast days, and they're joyous feast days. So, and there's a meaning behind them. We actually know what they're for. When you're in the world, you're just keeping Christmas. You think you know what it's about, but you really don't, and you don't even have an idea. It's not even rooted in any. That's what we're talking about. It's not rooted. Christmas isn't rooted in anything. It's rooted in wickedness and evil. Right? Let's continue on. Choose life, Akim, Akwath. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and 1. It says, this is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Choose life. Choose life. Right? You have to just choose life. It's the Most High God is really just telling you. And I know it's so hard because, like, when you're told to do the right thing, sometimes it just, the temptation of coming with the evil is right next to it. You got like they portray it in the world. The angel with the devil on the one shoulder. The one angel's telling you to do good on the right hand shoulder, and then on the left hand side you got evil. Do it. Commit that wickedness. Steal. Right? Take from your brother. Hate from your brother. We're gonna go over here to 1 Timothy chapter 6, and we're gonna go to verse number 6. It says, "But in godliness with contentment is great gain." Right? So you have to understand, don't steal. There's no reason to steal. Be content with what you have. I was talking to a brother across the street just yesterday, actually. Yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, yesterday, because we just got the blizzard. Crazy blizzard. Mad snow out my window right now. I asked him, "Hey, brother, how you getting home?" It was the one day I seen him walking. I said, "Where you from?" He said, "Yo, I'm from way over here." I said, "Dang, how you getting home?" He said, "The bus. It's going to take me 2 hours." I was like, 2 hours? You got to take the bus 2 hours every day? On top of your shift, you got to take the bus? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. It's actually insane that his situation. But you don't see this man over here stealing, trying to get an evil gain, right? He's content with what he has, and moving in that same similar spirit to be godly and content. The Most High told you it is great gain. It says, "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us therewith let us be therewith content." So as long as you have food and clothes on your body, you need to be content in this truth. It says, but, oh man, here we go. It says, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition." Right? So you have to understand that the rich, being rich, stealing this money, getting this money, they say by any means necessary, this is not a blessing. This is not a blessing to mob, to scheme. This is not the way. You want to do everything rooted in the Lord, and that's why we're here. If you're gonna earn money, it's nothing wrong with having a lot of money, right? Our forefathers had a lot of money, but you have to understand that everything has to be rooted in the Lord, because if not, you're cooked. Straight up. And the Lord just told you that right here. He told you, if it's not rooted in the Lord, you are cooked. It says why? It says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." So if you're not rooted in the Lord, while even trying to get your gain, or just with, and this is just one situation where we're just not rooted, when we're explaining being rooted in the Lord for monetary gain, right? That's the example at hand right now. But if you're not rooted in the Lord and using the Lord to using discernment and these scriptures to make your decisions, then you can be like this, having erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. You don't want to be like that, Akim or Yasharahla. You don't want to be like that, Yasharahla. Don't be like that. Be holy to the Most High God, right? So this is the book of, it's a quick exhortation, Philippians 4 and verse number 11. It says, "Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content." So you need to be content with whatever situation you have. Man, it's just, I don't want to bring up testimony after testimony, but the testimony speaks, and I'm speaking from experience. I've always thought that I was low. I was like, man, I'm jammed. But then I see the situation of my brothers speaking to people and understand that even though I think I'm low and I'm still trying to find a job in this and stuff like that, there's so many other people with a worse situation. I could be taking a bus. I could have no car. If you don't have a car, you can barely get to work. You can't get to work. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your bills. You ain't got no house. You ain't got no house. You're outside. And I just said there was a blizzard. You don't want to be like that. You don't have no money. You don't have no food. right? You don't have raiment or food, right? You don't want to be like that. You want to be in this truth and understand that whatever you have to be content. It says therewith to be content. Be content. My brothers have they came into this truth after receiving charges from the law. They might have a felony that they were charged with. They might be they might have gotten their license suspended. So they don't even have the choice. And that's before the truth. The Most High gives great mercy unto our people. And even if you were charged with these things that I'm talking about, you have to still be content because ultimately we were blessed with receiving this truth. Be content and move forward. Keep fighting that good fight and understand that no matter what you have, it's good enough, right? Come. Verse 13 says, I can do all things through Hamashiach, which strengtheneth me. And it's such a powerful precept because a lot of people say, oh, you can't, you wouldn't, right? I don't think you can. Impossible. The Lord said you can do all things through Christ, which is our rock, which is our foundation, which strengtheneth me. The rock strengtheneth the house, so that when the river, Slaki, I think when the stream, when the vehement stream comes through, that you're not moved, you're unmovable, unshakable. I believe that was the word, the vocabulary used in that precept. It says you want to be unmovable because Hamashiach strengtheneth you. He strengthens your house. He strengthens your foundation so that you're unmovable. Right? Where we at? 37 minutes. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and 13. Right? Slakia. This is talking about the wicked. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Slakia. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. And the Lord is aiming his arrows, modern day missiles, right? They're sharp, and they will not miss the wicked when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. It is what it is. You want to be saved from these terrors at the end of the world. You don't want to be the wicked. Choose life. Choose the things that are good on this earth that the Lord told you to do. Right? Verse 15. It says, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. I'm gonna read that again. It says the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. The foundation of this earth in this context is the foundation that the wicked has built. Right? They built their foundation not upon the Lord, but on money, on cars, on slavery, murder. Right? You don't want to be like the wicked, because the Lord told you that the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Our foundation is the Lord, and the fire will not put out the Lord, but it will put out the foundation of the wicked. Right? Come, we're gonna move on to Sirach 9. I think it's verse 12. Come, it says, delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. The wicked are going to be destroyed. Choose life and stay away from the evilness and the wine of this world. The wine being the wisdom of this world. That you can identify as a robot, as a moon, as the cat, as a man if you're a woman, and a woman if you're a man, and that you can get down with all these evil lusts that the world has brought up and glorified. before the Lord, knowing that his judgments and his laws are contrary to these actions, right? It says, delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in. Don't they have pleasure in money? Don't they have the love of money? This society is built off of stealing riches. You don't want to be on this team when the time of the Lord, with the return, well, when it comes to the time of the return of the Lord, right? Choose life, build your foundation, and grow through the Spirit, right? So, Slacky, I want to go to the book of Psalms. Slacky, I'm not gonna actually break this down. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna close out. This is Slacky, 2 Kings chapter 22 and verse 11. It says, and it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the book of the law that he rent his clothes. Right. This is a mighty precept. This is such a mighty precept. It says, and the king commanded Hilkiah the priest and Ahikam the son of Shaphan and Akbor the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan the scribe and Asahiah, a servant of the king's, bear with me, saying, go ye, inquire of the Lord for me, and for the people, and for Judah, concerning the words of this book that is found. Right? When our people were cast away from the laws of God, this king found the book and he read through it. Right? He said, inquire of the Lord for me, and for this people, talking about Israel, and for all Judah. It says, concerning the words of this book that is found, for great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according to all that is written, all that which is written concerning us. Right? So, because our people, it's written in this book, it's written in this Bible, the things that we must do. It's written the judgments that are upon our people. So when you stray away from the Most High, which our people did, we still are. When you open up this Bible and you understand the judgments that the Lord has towards our people, you're gonna understand what we must do. You're gonna understand the situation that we're in, and that's exactly what happened to this king. It says, because our fathers have not hearkened to the words of this book, to do according unto all that is written concerning us. Right? So we have to understand that we have to repent. We have to repent and understand who our foundation is. Right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 68. It reads, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, the Israelites. It says, and hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. We have to understand that these holy prophets, the Lord has always sent them here, but we just have to listen. If you don't listen and you don't believe in the Most High God, then you're going to face all these judgments. You cannot be surprised when the Almighty Creator who created everything, told you what to do, and you forsake these things, and he judges you. You can't be mad at that, right? It says that verse 71, it says that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, right? So closing out, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is YAHAWAH, who's coming in the name of his son, YAHAWAH Shai. Qam Yasharahla. Shalom.